Hello my crochet friends, how are you guys doing today? Let's start working on a second granny square in rows blanket. Instead of doing the granny square around and around and around in a square form, we're just going to go back and forth in rows, right? So you know I already started one using Lion Brand ice cream yarn, and this is where I'm at now with this. Okay, I've been working non-stop on it. It takes me about 2 days to go through one ball of yarn, and the ball of yarn is roughly 3.5 ounces. Okay, here is my first color, lemon swirl. My second color, tutti frutti. My third color, I think, is cake batter, I want to say. 1, 2, 3. My fourth ball of yarn was bunny tracks, and then my fifth ball of yarn is called Love Potion. So that is all I have for this one at the moment. I have to dig through my yarn stash. I think I have some more tutti frutti, but I'm not sure. Well, no, I am sure. I just don't know where it's at. So for now, I have to put this one down and put it aside. And then start another blanket with still Lion Brand ice cream yarn, but ice cream sprinkles. And I'll show you that one in a second. Hi, my name is Jenny. Welcome to Granny Square Peg, if you're new here. Alright, so today is Tuesday, February 11th, 2025. We have snow coming soon, so I figured today would be a good day to work on a blanket. And since I'm out of yarn on the ice cream blanket, then let's go ahead and start the ice cream sprinkle blanket, right? So my ice cream sprinkle yarn, have it stacked up here. Hopefully I showed you a little clip in the beginning. Most of it is, I used it on a project that I wasn't happy with, and I frogged it. And then I started it on another project that I wasn't happy with, and I frogged it. So it is, instead of hand winding into a ball, I used a ball winder, and it's in cake form now. So it doesn't have the labels on it, and it's wound up in a cake. Okay, so let's see. I didn't wind the cakes of yarn very tightly, so they're kind of floppy over here. Let's see. Okay. They just fell all over the place. I'm trying to be so gentle, and they just fell all over the place. This is what the Lion Brand ice cream yarn looks up when it's rolled up in a ball. And this is the sprinkles. So by sprinkles, they mean it's got a white background and little sprinkles of color. So this has got blue, yellow, pink sprinkled in there, or like sprinkles that you put on top of ice cream. Here in the Philadelphia area, we call them jimmies, and I don't know why. It's taken me a long time to learn to say sprinkles for ice cream instead of jimmies. So this is what my cake looks like. Yeah, it looks like a bowl of ramen noodles. My daughter's a big ramen noodle. Yeah, it looks like ramen noodles. So let's see, you can see the colors there. That one's got purple, blue, and orange. So this is what I'm going to be starting my second blanket with, okay? So I have, this color is called Rainbow. And I have 2 balls of this, right? So what I would do, I wouldn't put these colors together in the blanket. I would start with this one, and I would end with this one. Sometimes I try to make the blankets so when you fold them in half, they look the same either way, right? So this one is called Rainbow. This one, let's see. I have a piece of paper where I wrote them all down so I can, there was colors that I didn't get back in the day, and my notes say, oh my goodness, December 2016. See if my camera will focus on that. 2016, I've had Lion Brand ice cream yarn. Okay, alright, so let's see. White with blue, orange, and purple. blue, orange, purple. It is sherbet. Is it the only one I have of that color? Yes, that's the thing. This sherbet color is the only one I have. Okay. But I'll put the label with it because I do have the label, so now I can match it up. Because like so on my notes that I wrote down, because while it says sherbet, it doesn't tell you what colors are in the ball of yarn. So I wrote a cheat sheet with all the colors listed. All right, so this one is white and it's got 2 shades of blue and yellow, like a navy blue and a turquoise blue. And I do have 2 of those. And you can see one cake will be bigger than the other because of whatever project I frogged it from. It's a possibility it's from the same ball of yarn, just in 2 different spots. For whatever I did with it, who knows. This is tropical. Okay, so this color is called tropical. And yeah, since I've only got 1 yarn label here for it, that I probably had it in the same project but in different spots. I tried using it up in 2017 and I wasn't happy with it, so go. What other color do I have? Creamsicle, which is white, pink, green, and orange. Oh, okay, I've got. So here's the creamsicle. It's white with pink, orange, and green. I'm a big fan of pink and orange together. It's Dunkin' Donut colors, but I've always been a big fan of pink and orange together. So I've got 2 of that caked up, and I have another ball of it that I was using for another project, and see how the cats have been playing with it. So I've got a lot of creamsicle for a color. Maybe I'll start the blanket with the creamsicle and end with creamsicle, since I've got 2. Maybe. And then I've got Berry Burst, which is white with pink, purple, and yellow. Yeah, pink, purple, and yellow. So I've got 2 of those. All right, yeah, okay. So I'm getting a plan together. Like for the Lion Brand ice cream sprinkle yarn, you can see that sometimes the white, like here, it's a pretty good clean, bright white. But with the creamsicle, it's more of an off-white or a soft white. So putting them all together in the same blanket, at some point, you'll look at it, you'll be like, wow, that white looks kind of dirty, right? But it's not. It's just because it's a soft white. I have to trust that when it's done, it will still go well together. I have to trust that. All right. So those are all the colors of the Lion Brand ice cream sprinkle that I have. And I think that Lion Brand doesn't make the sprinkle line anymore. I know that they still make the ice cream yarn because I just recently bought some from Joann's. And they have new colors for the ice cream yarn that have more of a heathered look to them. So I didn't buy any of them because they wouldn't fit in what I'm doing here. But this sprinkle yarn, I'm pretty sure they don't make it anymore. If they still do, if you guys shop at the Lion Brand website, let me know down in the comments below so I can correct myself, okay? But other than that, like when I'm looking for a specific yarn and there's a possibility that it's just not manufactured or made anymore, I go to eBay. eBay.com can sometimes be my best friend when it comes to yarn. Because I was looking for some lime, a neon green from Joann's line of yarn called Big Twist before they had done a revamp a couple years ago, and I needed the older version of it to go along with a project that I was currently working on, and eBay came to the rescue. So kind of like that. So my next step is to figure out sizing, since I have less yarn to work with. And there's a possibility it's not being made anymore, and I don't know if I can get any on eBay or not, which maybe I should have checked before I sat down. What I'm going to do is I'm going to measure this blanket that I'm currently making, and I will come up with a number that is a little bit smaller, so hopefully I can use all this up. And then I also have a baggie. I know you guys do this too, because there were smaller bits of the Lion Brand sprinkle ice cream sprinkle yarn that I was testing out in like granny square form or something. So I do have some little bits in here that I can add to what I have here, or I can save it and use it for the border. Maybe I should pick one of these colors and save it and use it on the border. It's actually not a bad idea. Okay, yeah, I'm planning this while I'm sitting here with you. So let me go find my tape measure so we can measure this, and I will be right back, okay? I feel like I should apologize because I've been sniffling a lot, so if it's coming through in the video, I am sorry. It's mid-February and I'm having an allergy attack. So I've been sniffling all day. Alright, so this is not good. This is not exact science, okay? You know, I've got the blanket laying on my lap. I've got my tape measure. I'm going to do the best I can to measure what its current measurements are while it's sitting all loosey on my lap. Let's see, I've got 23, we'll have to double that, so 46, 45 inches maybe. So I was aiming for 37 to 42 inches, or 36 to 42 inches. So I went a little over because I crochet big and loose, and sometimes I forget to take that into account. So, and I did a starting chain of 180. So for the second blanket, since I do have less yarn to work with, I'm gonna drop down my starting chain to multiples of 3, maybe 150. Let's try 150, and hopefully that'll give me the width that I want, and then I can go from there. Okay, very much doing this right off the top of my head. Okay, put that right there. Can we see that one? Wow, so pretty. I said to my husband the other night, it's a good thing that we have plenty of blankets in the house, or else we'd be keeping this one too, because it is coming out so pretty. I'm aiming for bigger than a lap size. I want it to be throw size, but for an adult, because I want adults to have baby colors, because baby colors are fun and they're soft and they're pretty and they make me happy. So yes. So my starting chain is multiples of 3. Okay, and then when I'm done with the chain, I add a couple extra stitches to do the turning chain, and then I do 1 row of single crochet. I like having a firmer foundation for that, for the beginning of the blanket. It firms it up just a little bit when you have to come back and do a border on it. Okay, so what color do I want to start with? I'm thinking the white, the soft white that has the green and the orange and the pink, because I love pink and orange together, and it looks really cute with the green. I think I'm going to start there. Yes, let's do that. Okay, which means I have to turn the camera down. You're going to look into my lap, okay? I am using a size E crochet hook, because you know in the United States we use a letter system, which translates into a 3.5 millimeter. I know that is kind of tiny and small. The yarn that I'm using is a number 3 lightweight, or a DK weight, which, you know, DK means double knit, so it's a DK weight. This blanket and this pattern, it is so adaptable for your crocheting style. If you need to use a bigger hook, use a bigger hook. With a bigger hook, you might want to use thicker yarn, which is fine. Do you have any leftover variegated yarns? Do you have some solid colors that are left over in little balls that you can just connect and just keep do it like a scrappy blanket with the granny and rose? It's okay. Go ahead and do that. So, and remember that my starting chain of 150 for this blanket, my 150 and your 150 might look different, because I crochet loose. All right, so when you crochet loose, things come out a little bigger and a little stretched, okay? When I am working on something very specific, like in a crochet along that somebody else had done that I participate in, I actually usually have to go really tight and get my stitches smaller, because turns out a lot of people out there are very tight crocheters. They hold on very tight to the yarn and to their hook and make very small, tight stitches. I have to work really hard to do that. My stitches are big and loose. So, you know, take that into consideration. Try to have measurements in mind. If you only want your blanket to be 36 inches, go ahead and work your chain, work the first row, and then just gently just lay that out and get a rough measurement. If it's too small, you need to add some more chains. If it's too big, you need to take some chains off. But it's okay to rip it out and do it again. Is it frustrating to do something a second time? Sometimes. But that's the nature of crocheting. You have to figure out your own style of crocheting. Big and loose, small and tight. And you have to make adjustments for that yourself, okay? We can't do it for you. And the measurements, you can't say to me, well, how big is 150 chains, you know? Is it 36 inches? I don't know. Maybe for me, but maybe not for you, because we crochet differently. And try to remember that, okay? All we can do is just give you guidelines to follow. So now that I'm off my soapbox that we all crochet differently, and I can't give you all the answers, you do have to figure some of it out for yourself. Here we go. So, oh, I love the green, the pink, and the orange. Oh, I love it. All right, let's see if I still have... Whoa, I still have it coming out the middle. I can pull from the middle. Oh, I love it. I love it. I did such a good job caking these up. I mean, I wish they were a little tighter, but, you know. Alright, so now I'm going to be quiet for a minute so I can do my chain of 150. Okay, don't look down my shirt. Alright, here we go. Breathe, and off we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I usually get about 5 or 6 chains before I have to adjust and move my hand up. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Easy peasy, right? That's 20. That's 30. That's 40. Okay, so that's my first 50 chains. Now here I'm going to give you a little bit of advice. If you struggle with counting your chains and you lose track, go ahead and grab a stitch marker. If you don't have a stitch marker, just use a random piece of yarn from a leftover project somewhere and find chain number 50 right here at your hook and put a stitch marker in there. So then when you're done, you can go and count by, say, 50, 100, 150. If that's too many stitches, maybe do it every 10 stitches. So you can go 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. If that's still not quite enough, do it every 20 stitches, every 25 stitches, whatever works for you, okay? So I know that that's my first 50 stitches, and now I'm going to go do another to 100, okay? See if I can come up with another tip for you. So I'll try and be quiet for this one so you guys can concentrate on what you're doing. So that was chain number 100 for me. Here's another tip for you. If you have a lot of people living in your house and they can be distracting, go lock yourself in your bedroom. Try to minimize your distractions. When I do this, I do it during the day when my husband's at work, and my youngest is in school and my middle child is at work, okay? My cats are running around a bit obnoxiously right now at the moment, but, you know, cats can do that. But I try to minimize all my distractions and make sure that there's no phone buzzing at me, that there's no music in the background, so I can concentrate on what I'm doing and so I can keep track of my count. So you won't find me doing this at night when everybody is at home and walking around the house and cooking dinner and having conversations, because I can't concentrate. Another thing you can do is you can keep a notebook or a pad beside you with a pen and pencil and keep track of your chain that way. Okay, so now I'm gonna go do my next 50 chains, and okay, I'm at 101, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, now that's 150. I try really hard to make sure my house is quiet in the background when I'm doing this, but my heater keeps going on and then going off, coming on, going off, because it is getting colder out for the snow. And then right now I can hear Bandit upstairs in the litter box. So if you hear some scratching, that is Bandit using the litter box. Okay, so now at 150 chains, you can put it down and then go back to the beginning and count again and make sure that you have 150. I actually do that on occasion. I'm not going to do that right now because if I get it wrong, I get it wrong, and I want to show you guys if it is wrong that it's okay and it's easily fixable. And then I want to show you that if it's right, how I do the, oh my god, I got it right dance. If you guys have any tips that I didn't mention, leave them down in the comments below, so when people are scrolling through the comments, maybe your way would work for them, and if my way didn't, okay? So alright, so we are at 150. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to chain another 2. And that's just going to be my turning chain to start the first row of single crochet. I like the chain 2 because it gives me a little bit more room when I come back to work on the border. With the chain 2 as a turning chain, and I don't work into it when I'm doing the double crochets for the granny. When I get back to it to make a corner when I'm doing the border, it gives me more space to work into. So like most people, when they chain and then they go back the other way to do single crochet, they will chain 1. I'm chaining 2 only because I like to have the more room when I'm doing the border later. It all works out, okay? Did I do the chain 2? I'm going to do that now, right? Okay. So then I'm going to go back to chain number 150, which is, I guess, the 3rd chain from the hook, because that's number 152, 151, 150. And I'm going to do a single crochet. And I'm going to do a single crochet in each stitch along the chain. And because it's my first row, it gets fiddly. I do have to pay attention to what I'm doing here, okay? I'm going to go as long until my camera shuts off in about 6 minutes. So that's 2 single crochets. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, that's my first 10 single crochets. Bandit in the litter box. Oh my goodness, it smells so bad. Don't know what that boy is eating, but he stinks. Alright, that was my first 50 single crochets. I love how it gives this little curly cue when I'm working on it. Okay, that's my first 50. Hopefully my number's right. Notice how quiet I got while I'm doing the single crochets in the chain because I'm concentrating very hard. Okay, my friends, that was chain number 100. I'm going to shut the camera off for a minute and let it cool down, and then I will finish the rest of my single crochets, and I will be right back, okay? All right, that's it. 150 single crochets. I know it's not much to look at, but there it is. Okay. So pretty. All right, so I'm going to just roughly sit it out on my other blanket that I'm working on and see if it is a bit shorter, a bit less wide, since I have less yarn to work with. And oh yeah, I'd say it's about 10 inches shorter, maybe. So 35, 36 inches maybe. So yes, approximate. Nothing is for sure because I don't have a flat surface to lay it out on and check it. Okay, so this is where we will chain 3 to go up and get the height of a double crochet and turn our work and start working the granny clusters across the row. All right, let's use this one as my guide. What did I do? Yeah, like I haven't written this one down, so I'm just using this one to figure out what I already did. I'm gonna chain 3. I'm gonna do a single crochet in that first. I mean a double crochet, sorry. And then I'm gonna skip 2 and yes, okay. Okay. A lot of talking to myself and talking to you. All right, let's chain 3 and go up. 1, 2, 3. Turn our work. And I'm going to do a double crochet right there in that first single crochet, or the last single crochet, depending on how you look at it from the row before. There we go. So I have a double crochet sitting right there with the chain 3. Now I'm going to skip the next 2 stitches, 1, 2, and in the third stitch I'm going to do 3 double crochets, which I call a granny cluster, or a double crochet cluster. There we go. There are my 3 double crochets. Now I'm going to skip 2 again, and in the third one do 3 more double crochets. 1, 2, 3. It's hard to show you in the camera lens what it looks like because I'm holding so many things. I got yarn in one hand, my working project in another, and the hook. Okay, so you're going to do that. After your 3 double crochets in the same stitch, you're going to skip 2, and in the third do your 3 double crochets. Skip 2, and in the third do 3 double crochets. Now some people do a chain 1 in between their granny clusters. I'm skipping the chain 1 because I want to conserve as much yarn as I can, and because I want it a little bit more compact and a less in open texture or wholly, so it can stay warmer. All right. As you can see here, my stitching, there's no chain 1s. So the clusters wind up very close together to make the blanket a little bit more dense. Okay, so skip 2, do your cluster, skip 2, do your cluster, skip 2, all the way to the end of the row. You're going to skip 2, and then you're going to do 2 double crochets in the last stitch. Okay, so let's just do that. 1, 2, and a cluster. 1, 2, and a cluster. After the chain, you do the first row of single crochet. After the first row of single crochet, you do your first row of your granny clusters. Then you do a second row of granny clusters. And you got, it's how you start and end the row for those first 2 rows. And then after that, you don't have to pay attention to anything other than how you start the row and end the row. Because on this row, we're starting with 2 double crochets and we're going to end with 2 double crochets. On the next row of granny clusters, we're going to start with 1 single crochet, which is actually crap. No, it's just a chain 3. Oh, now I forget. I'm trying to tell you ahead of time, and I should just wait until I get there. So don't listen to anything I just was mumbling about. I think I'm still working it out in my head. Wonder how my husband feels when he sits and he listens to me do this. Probably thinks I'm speaking gibberish or I'm crazy. 1, 2. Nah, he knows. He knows I'm counting and working it out in my head while talking out loud. Oh, sorry, I dropped out of view. I'm sorry. Where I'm sitting away from the edge of the couch, from the arm and my back. My back is saying, stop doing that. Alright, skip 2, do a cluster. Skip 2, do a cluster. You guys will often see me pull my yarn out of the skein or the cake. I like my yarn to be nice and loose when I'm working with it, hence why I crochet so big and loose, because I like my yarn loose. Yes, I still wrap it around my fingers to hold it for tension, but I do like it sitting loose. Alright, I am almost at the end. So skip 2, do 3 double crochets in the same stitch. Skip 2, 3 double crochets. If you hear that beeping noise, that's my computer. 1, 2, and... Alright, so this will be my last granny cluster. And I think I've got 3 stitches left. I don't have my glasses on, so I'm going to skip 1, skip 2, and... Ooh, there's a possibility I didn't. Alright, we are going to do a single, not a single crochet, a double crochet. And because in the beginning, when we did the chain 3 and did a double crochet in that same stitch, the chain 3 acts as your first double crochet. So at the end, we do 2 double crochets in the same stitch, in the same spot. Alright, there we go. Alright, look at that. So how many granny clusters do we have when we have a starting chain of 150? Now, am I too worried about mistakes if I skipped 1 or if I skipped 3? No, because it usually all works out in the end. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 2, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49. So I've got 49 granny clusters. Okay? Is that right or wrong? I don't know. But it all worked out. It looks like it's straight. It looks like it's even. Alright, so that was technically row 2, but the first row of grannies, right? So we're going to chain 3. We're going to turn. You are going to skip the chain 3. I mean, crap. I'm sorry, guys. I'm going way too fast for myself. We have these 2 right here, okay? 2 double crochets that ended the row. We're skipping them. And then, see our first granny cluster? There's that space right there in between. You're going to do 3 double crochets in that space. And there's your first granny cluster of the next row. You are going to skip this cluster, so you're skipping 3 stitches, and then you're going to find the space right here, and you're going to work another cluster. It's not a chain 1 space because I didn't do chain 1s, but it's the equivalent of a chain 1 space, so I'm just calling it the space between clusters. And I think that's my phone. I think one of the kids just texted me, so I will be right back. Okay, yeah, was one of the kids, my youngest, when she's done her school day, she has band practice, and then after band, she goes to hang out with her friends. But since she's got her own car, she'll text me and let me know when she's done and where she's going. So I appreciate that. Alright, so, I very much make these patterns up as I go along. I've been using this same pattern for making granny and stripes for years, but I don't make it often. It's only every couple of years I'll make one. So I feel like I'm making it up as I go along yet again, which I guess maybe that's what I'm doing. So for those of you who prefer a written pattern, I really don't like writing it down because somebody out there will steal it and then they'll start selling it and then they make money off of it. So I really struggle with that. So I am just doing 3 double crochets in between each of the clusters of the row before. Okay? And this will be a good project for me to work on when it's getting ready to snow and I'm here in the house by myself. I'll put some music on in the background or YouTube videos. I watch a lot of book videos because of course you guys see my bookshelves. I'm in the process of curating my bookshelves, and it just means having books on there that I have read and I thoroughly enjoyed and I would consider reading a second time. Books that I have a fun time with. Books that when I read them, I get so totally lost in them, in the world that was created, or the characters are so real to me. There are plenty of books on my shelves that I haven't read yet because I'm still figuring out what I like and what I don't like. I'm 53 years old. I've been reading since I was 9. I've been crocheting since I was 9. But I'm still figuring out what I like with books, and my tastes change every couple years. You know, right now I'm big into sci-fi, fantasy, although I think I've always been in sci-fi and fantasy, but you know, murder mysteries, thrillers, psychological thrillers, horror. I'll read almost a little bit of everything. So I'm in the process of curating my bookshelves, and I have them separated by age group. On the other side of my living room, there is 3 bookcases over there. One is all children's books from like when my kids were little. So it'll be board books that babies like to chew on, picture books, early readers, chapter books. The next shelf is middle grade, and that is middle grade usually refers to kids that are in middle school or junior high, because they're in that middle grade of not quite being kids but not quite being teenagers either. So usually 8 to 12-year-olds. So I have a shelf full of middle grade. Think Percy Jackson, Lemony Snicket, that kind of thing. The next shelf is young adult, and young adult is middle teenagers to early 20s. So let's say like maybe 15 to 23. That's young adult. And then the one sitting here behind me is my adult shelves, okay? I have more adult books than I do the other 3 age groups combined. And I also, when I put them on the shelves, I do them alphabetically by author last name. Which right now I'm in between books. If you guys have any recommendations, it could be a current modern day book, it can be an older book, but if you have any recommendations for something to read, since I'm in between books right now, I would love to have a book recommendation. If you've watched the video for this long. Tell me your favorite book down in the comments. And why it's your favorite book. Why would you recommend it to people? So, like when I get done with this second row of the Grannies, it sets up the whole blanket that I do not have to count. I hardly have to pay attention. I can watch TV shows and movies in the background. It's just always 3 double crochets in each space between the clusters of the row before. All I have to pay attention to is the end of the row and the beginning of the row. It's either 2 double crochets or 1 double crochet. It alternates. So that's all I ever have to pay attention to. I am using the whole ball of yarn. The Lion Brand ice cream yarn is 3.5 ounces. Here, wait, I can give you 3.5 ounces or 100 grams, 394 yards or 360 meters. I use the whole ball of yarn, and when it runs out, I tie in or weave in my next color and start the next color. I'm still working on this second row of clusters. And I have to take a minute to thank all of you who do take the time to leave a comment down below. I appreciate that. I've never been much of a social person, but I'm learning. I appreciate all the comments. You guys are so nice. You have such kind words. You have such good hearts. You make me laugh. You make me cry. Some of you make me roll my eyes like, oh my goodness. Some of the comments are like, didn't you watch the video? Why are you asking me that? Didn't I say so in the video? I don't know. It can be hard putting yourself out there. But I feel like I have a lot to say about crocheting, and I enjoy sharing my crochet journey with you. Because you guys understand our love-hate relationship with it and with the rest of the world. Wow, you guys are fantastic. Sorry, you're just watching me look down. Almost to the end of the row. Okay, so I'm at the end of the row. I've got a granny cluster here. There's this space here, and then there's the 2 double crochet. Well, 2 double crochet because one is a chain 3. Alright, so I am going to do a cluster right here in the end. I'm going to do 3 double crochets. And then, because I started the row with a chain 3, which acts as 1 double crochet, I'm going to take these 2 double crochets here at the end. I'm going to split them in half. I'm going to do 1 double crochet in there. And that's how I'm going to end the row. So you start a row with 2, and you end that particular row with 2. You start a row with 1, and you end it with 1. Okay? When I get some more rows done, what I will do is I will turn the camera around. I'll sit with my IKEA step stool like I used to do back in the day and give you a close-up of what it looks like, okay? just in case I'm not explaining it very well. See, sometimes I feel like I don't explain it well at all. And other times I feel like I'm right on the money. Or on the nose. Right on the nose. Alright. So I turned and now I'm going back across. Oh, I love the way this works out. Do I occasionally put 2 double crochet in a space and then move on? Yes. Thankfully, I hold it up every couple and just double check. It's a habit I got into a very long time ago, and I just rip it out and go back and fix it. Do I occasionally put 4 double crochet in a space? Yes. Yes, I do. I actually do that more often than I just put 2 in there, but 4. And then I'll be looking at it, I'm like, oh, I gotta go back and take out that extra stitch. Could I leave it there? Yes. Because it wouldn't matter. Is it overly noticeable? Not really. It's, for me, it's conserving the yarn since there's not a lot of it, because Lion Brand just doesn't make the same colors that I have, or they don't make the sprinkles anymore. So when I do find that I've got too many stitches, I go back and rip it out because I need to conserve my yarn, because I'm cheap and because the yarn companies don't make it anymore. I get so frustrated with the yarn companies. It's whatever they decide is trending. Alright, there we go. That is the start of a blanket, my friends. I was going to tell you that's easy peasy, but I know that for some people, no, that's not quite so easy. Some people just don't like doing it on their own. They like it when other people come up with the numbers and come up with the pattern and the technique and then show them how to do it. That's okay. I'm just a free spirit, maybe. I just go with the flow. And now I'm starting to ramble. I mean, this is like what I do, just another 40 minutes of videoing here. So, yeah, the snow hasn't started yet, and I'm still home alone for the moment. So I'm gonna go have a snack, have a drink. I will come back and show you an update on this when it's tomorrow and the lighting is better, and then I'll put this video up tomorrow. Not that it matters when I do that, but I don't know. You guys know I love you. You know I love to babble and go on in front of the camera. So I will see you guys tomorrow, and then I'll put the video up so you guys can see it. Okay. All right. Love you. Bye. Okay, so my first cake is almost done. Now this is not a full skein of yarn, and it's not a full ball of yarn. This is the other half of it. So I've only got, how many rows do I have so far? See the starting chain, row 1 of single crochets, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rows of the granny clusters going back and forth in a row. So I'm almost done this little cake of yarn, and I just wanted to show it to you because it's just so cute as it gets smaller and smaller and smaller. But when I do get to the end of this, I will find the end and I will tie it to the beginning of this one and keep going. Okay, my friends, I think this is going to be the end of the video. I think that is a good start to a blanket. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I've got 8 rows, and I've just started the 9th. So 8 rows of the granny going back and forth, and the first row of single crochet and the chain. So about an hour, hour and a half worth of work. Okay, it's kind of cute, right? Yeah. All right, I'm feeling a little nauseous. It can be a side effect of my type 2 diabetes. I have to go check my blood sugar and make sure that I'm okay. And then I'm going to finish loading my dishwasher, get my dishwasher running. And then I'm going to come and write down some notes about this the size hook that I'm using, the date that I started it, roughly where I want to go with the color placement. So I'm going to write some notes so I don't forget about it. And yeah, I think that's a good start to the blanket. I'm thinking, okay, just for this one, because I'm starting it on a day where it's supposed to snow, we're supposed to get snow later, I'm going to call it the Snow Day blanket. Yeah? It's kind of got a ring to it. My other one, I don't know, that's just Granny and Rose, right? But this one, I'm thinking about calling it the Snow Day blanket. I don't know. Let me know what you think. Alright, so that is it. You guys know how I feel about you. I love each and every single one of you, and I want to thank you for all your kind comments down below. And I'll see you in the next one. Maybe I'll come back. I would like to come back in a couple days to show you the last of the yarn that is in my living room. Yarn and crochet projects and craft books that I would like to move out of my living room to elsewhere. So maybe I'll come back in a couple days. Today's Tuesday. Maybe by the weekend I'll come back and do another video, okay? And then, you know, video after that'll be blanket updates, okay? So, I mean, it's not a crochet along, but, you know, grab a hook, okay? Whatever size hook that you like using. Grab some yarn. Your favorite yarn, your not so favorite yarn, your favorite colors, your just leftovers. Do some grannies in a row. I don't know. Love you guys. Bye.